Hey everybody, it's Jasmine, your brow expert. Thank you so much for joining me. It's gonna be an exciting video today because I have a client that I absolutely adore. She's got great eyebrows. Why am I using her then? You'll see why in just a second. I've been shaping eyebrows for almost 25 years now at the Anastasia Beverly Hills Salon. I still shape brows there. So some of you guys come by, gotten your brows shaped by me. Thank you for trusting me with your brows. So if you haven't come by, please do so. And definitely subscribe so that way you always get a fresh new video weekly. Yeah, so I'm using myself as a model. I do have an old brow tattoo. Some of you guys are new on this page, so you may not know that. And if you want to know a little bit more about the tattoo world on eyebrows, check out, you just scroll down. I have a video on about the pros and cons of microblading and just all about the brow tattoo and even the artist in Southern California. Okay, so let's get back into this video today. I'm really excited about this video because this person I featured over in Instagram and it went viral. So thank you so much for you guys for your support on that one. It went really crazy because I think so many of you guys relate with this eyebrow. She's got nice full set of eyebrows, but they're really sparse, very sparse. And so when you properly have it shaped by yours truly, it gives it more of a thicker look. So I'm giving her a thicker look. I'm giving her a brow lift. You guys know me by now. You know I'm all about a brow lift. You have to have a brow lift because why not, right? It's a lot cheaper and much easier way to get yourself a nice lift. And so if you don't have any ends or if you have a little bit and you don't know what to do, this could also be your video. But without further ado, let me bring in this model. You guys ready? Okay, so like I said, full eyebrows, or can you see them? They are full, they're just really sparse. So when they're sparse, you don't see the hairs that well. And you're gonna see a white outline real soon just to show you guys how much hair she does have below that white outline. There it is. So below the white outline is where I'm gonna wax and tweeze. When you get rid of the hairs you don't need by someone like myself who knows what they're doing, it will leave the hair thicker. So it's full, because she's got a lot of hair spread out. So it just kind of is a blurred picture. But when you take off the hairs you don't need, it gives it more of a defined look, therefore adds that thicker look. She does have a lot of hair down below here, so she doesn't need that because then it drags the eyebrow down, kind of gives it like a little bit of a lazy look. So by lifting that up, voila. Now the waxing really did help, especially for her because she does have a lot of fuzz in and around the eyebrow. So when you wax that off, it just gives it a nice precise look to the eyebrows, nice and thick. You can see the eyebrows better. She has a little bit of a lift on the ends, but she does still have the ends. Very important to point that out. Okay, so she doesn't need color, right? But I'm a makeup artist. I still need to do some color. So just to elevate the eyebrows, you're going to add some color. First and foremost, I always like to use a brow fix because a brow fix, it has very little, it has no color actually, because it has like a velvety texture really. But if you just put a little bit of fix on there from front to end, it leaves a nice kind of velvety texture, great for the powder, which is what I'm going to use. Make sure you use a spoolie brush because when you use this, it spreads the product throughout the eyebrows and gets off any of the residue. So it's perfectly ready for the powder. So you're going to see in just a second how much of the powder it soaks up. But the cool thing is that it also evenly applies the color on the eyebrows. Okay, so the brush 7B, very important because you need an angle brush. And the powder I'm going to use is ash brown dual powder. You can actually use granite. It's a little darker, but when you have similar skin color like her and me, we have more of an olive tone, but it's not too dark. But no highlights in the hair, it's pretty dark hair, then ash brown's perfect. But if you have darker skin, but still dark hair, granite might be good for you, or ebony. If you have some darker, maybe red highlights, maybe ebony. But play with it. I think ash brown is the best color. Now, I'm gonna use a mid-tone. Mid-tone by that, I mean, is using the light and dark color back and forth. So the brush, you're gonna notice it's laying down. I pick up the powder always laying down. If I pick up the powder this way, you spray out the hair. You don't keep it sharp, and it's always about keeping it sharp. Look at that. So I'm raising the brush up. Now this is something, if you haven't done already, I encourage you to do so. I'm going to try my left eyebrow with my left hand. I'm right-handed, but I'm going to use this hand. So see the angle of the brush? I'm lowering right here and right at the bottom part of your eyebrows, and I'm raising the brush up just lightly. I'm lightly, barely pressing my skin. In my case, it's skin. No, there is a little hair there. And I'm just raising it up. Okay, the reason I'm doing this because I want very light pressure, but I do want to coat that hair just to make it a little bit darker, not dark, right? Okay, so you can see there is now a little bit of color at the front of her eyebrows. Now look at the angle of the brush. I'm going to add a little bit more color on the brush. Now I'm kind of going sideways. I'm still not holding the brush this way. I'm kind of going more in an angle, and I'm just moving it now. So you can see right at the lower edge. Always go at the lower edge. Not always, but just for right now. Go at the lower edge right here. So I'm kind of tapping and moving with very light pressure. Reason I always say light pressure is that you get more of a sharper application. And because of the brow fix on before, the color is just going on nice and even. You're not struggling that much, which that's not what you want, right? So you want to barely touch your eyebrows, and with that brow fix, that helps. And the angle of the brush, you're just allowing the brush to do the work for you. So now we're doing the top of the eyebrows. That's very important. Now I'm just dragging the brush down. That's another very important tip. If you haven't tried this already, I show you guys this a lot, or at least I try to. When you drag the brush down, you're getting it right at the edge of the top, and then you're spilling the color in the inside of your eyebrow. So that way you get more of an even coverage without being so harsh and dark in the inside. Because we focus right here like this, you get your brows too thin and it gets too dark in the middle of the eyebrows when you want it to be more kind of a diffused look. You know, I like that word, diffused. That's the word. Okay, so I'm going to try that now. I'm going to grab a little bit more color on myself. For me, I mean. And so I'm just gonna see the angle of the brush right at the top. This is dragging it down. And I'm applying a little bit more of a heavier pressure. I can do that because it's in the middle to the end. You always want it to be a little bit darker here, not so much up in the front. So I'm just dragging it down. There you go. Now, right up here, I'm always going back and forth, right? Once I've gotten predominantly most of the color, I'll go up in the front and just lightly touch the eyebrows. Now over here, I want it a little bit darker, right? So I'm actually applying a little bit of a heavier pressure when I go towards the end of the eyebrow. Just heavier pressure will ensure that you get a bit more of a darker application. Now, because I have that old tattoo, I think mine already adds that kind of dark depth, but you get the idea, right? Now, if the front ends up being too dark, that's when you use a little bit of that spoolie brush. That would be perfect, okay? Because spoolie brushes are everything because it just softens everything up if you do too much or if it goes on too dark. You just don't want to press too hard. Again, it's all about light pressure, combing lightly. Everything's always about light. So on her, do you see how it just came to life, her brows? And I didn't do a lot to her eyebrows. If you remember, it was just very lightly going up. And then it's going down at the top. And then I'm just putting a little bit of pressure towards the end. So it's like 3 different steps that I'm doing, and making sure that you just use a spoolie throughout. Here's a very important part. Right here, I want you to take a look at this. What am I doing? You can use this with the pencil. I can do this with the pencil. I'm moving the brush in a circular motion because I don't like the front to be so square and harsh looking. It could easily do that, especially when you go up in the front and you're doing this, it can be very square. So by just doing this little circular motion here, you're ensuring that it stays a little bit more soft. That's very important. Now I'm using the dual highlighter pencil. I think I'm using Matte Shell and Lace Shimmer on her. There's 2 different colors on this highlighter. I'm using the lighter color so you guys can really see on the screen. But right underneath, I use the bright color, the matte. The matte's very bright. You can really see right there. But if you flip it over, it's the shiny part. Then it kind of tones everything down. Sometimes I just use the shiny part alone. And I'll use it on this eyebrow just to give you an idea what I mean by that. If I use the shiny part, it just gives it a nice glow. I love this stick. I love the other one as well. So if you guys don't have this dual highlighting stick, I encourage you to get one. I like both. I like the pink. I like the gold. I like both. Who doesn't like gold? Okay, so then the brush 18, which is always important, right? So it just spreads everything out, smooths everything. And you know what? If you made any mistakes, you guys already know to use the brush 18, right? Exactly, because, you know, this covers a multitude of sins. So it's so important. If you guys don't have one, I think everybody should have one of these in their makeup kit for sure. Here's another very important thing. Everything's important. in this video. The brow gel. Why is that important? Because she's got very fine hair. So it's not as fine once you put brow gel because it has some fiber in here. So it adds texture, makes the hairs look thicker. It's kind of like when you walk out of the shower and your hair is wet, your hair looks darker, right? When it's wet, it's similar to that concept, right? When you're putting the gel on, you're kind of wetting the hair a little bit because you're putting this gel-like texture on the hair. And then you're combing it through, so you're separating the hair. So it is in a mascara wand, so it's very easy to put a ton on, right? Kind of like how we do our mascara, but be very sparing, very light. You don't need too much, but just enough to where you could see the hair. So for me, it's all about really seeing the hair. I love seeing the color. This is a beautiful polished look, right? But you could also see the strands of hair. Look at that before and after. How good is that? It's so pretty. I just love the way this looks because for a few reasons. One, her ends aren't so dragging down now, right? It's not like here, it's up, right? Her hair, her brow hair, you can see that now. You can see all the strands and it looks so natural that way. Yes, you can see the color, but it just has that kind of nice flow, which is why it's so important that you use all the products I showed you. But that before and after is so everything. And does she need any of this color? Of course not, because the shape was done so well. But anytime you want to elevate your eyebrows, you're going out, you need a bit dressy look. You know, sometimes you can just do a highlighter. Like I've done that where, you know, we'll just pretend that I just don't have any makeup on my eyebrows, even though it's a tattoo. If you use the highlighter only, and then the little bit of that shiny side underneath, that just makes a nice difference. It shows off the eyebrows. So anytime you have something light, I just went a little too much under right here. But anytime you go light underneath your brow hair, it can show it off better. So think about that. Now, I hope you're sharing this with someone, right? And I hope you're subscribing because that way you get the latest. And thank you so much for sticking with me. Definitely share this with a friend that you know can benefit from this video. And I will see you guys right back here. Thank you.